Hi y'all, this is House Guest and I am your host, Kenzie Elizabeth. Think a Gen Z wannabe Martha Stewart meets Dolly Parton trying to live in a Nancy Meyers movie in her 20s. We talk all about life, relationships, navigating your 20s, closing out the bars, or waking up at 5 a.m. depending on our vibe that week. Ultimately, living our best lives and figuring it out along the way. So come hang out. Sometimes I have guests on who do really cool things, some of my best friends, or it's just me and my house that I spend way too much time in. So let's get into the show. Hi, house guest. Welcome back to the show. Today, I am off to Los Angeles. We are recording with Tess Barlay. This is the episode if you guys are wanting to grow your social media account, build your own brand, build a business, all the things. Tess is an expert. She has 10 years of experience in this space, and I just love and adore her. If y'all are new here and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on audio, wherever you're listening to podcasts, leave a nice rating and review. Without further ado, let's welcome Tess to the show. I'm so happy that you're here. I feel like I've known you forever, but I guess we literally just met.
I know. I feel like we've known each other for life.
Literally
Truly.
for life.
Mm-hmm.
Lifelong friend.
I know. Here we are.
Okay, so I did your podcast like 3 years ago.
Forever ago, yeah.
It was probably 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
So cute. Okay, well, anyways, we're in Los Angeles today, and I brought in the big guns, if you will, for the Content Creation 101 episode. If you want to be an influencer, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to start TikTok, Substack, whatever you...
Substack's a moment right now.
Substack's really having a moment right now.
It is, yeah.
Then this is the episode for you, okay? Can you give us a little bit of a background on you and like your career?
Yeah, of course. So hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. A house guest, like truly. I'm just so excited. Yeah, so my name's Tess. I've worked in like content creation, social media marketing for over 10 years, both on the corporate side. I worked at beauty brands, doing influencer marketing, tech, Big Four, and then now I am a full-time content creator and podcaster talking about all things social media and content. It's like my whole personality. It's love of my life. Content creation, social media.
A lot of the time when people make content around creating content, for some reason, it's overwhelming to me.
It's terrifying.
But the way that you do it doesn't feel that way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I feel that way. It's scary, like watching people. They're like, post 10 times a day or else you don't want it. It's like so mean. Like, we're busy. But
yeah, they're like, it's not the algorithm, it's you. Which, by the way, I do agree with more often than not.
It is, yeah.
But like, I think that it's all about the approach.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the world of like content creation, social media content is like, it's scary out there. But
well, it's actually terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It's also so different from when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And like short form content when I started, I sound like a I sound geriatric.
Because you've been doing this for how long?
11, 12 years.
Okay,
I started my YouTube channel when I was 16. I'm 27.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
So impressive.
But it was a totally different time.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as short form. I think in a lot of ways, it's actually a lot easier to start now.
Yeah.
But then I also think it's harder. Like I think it's easier. Actually, I really do think it's easier because TikTok is so much easier to grow on than any other platform. Like YouTube, building a YouTube channel is so hard. Like it is, it's so difficult to grow on YouTube. Also, just the difference between making short form content to long term, obviously. Yeah. However, like with short term, you've got to like get their attention span immediately with you. But with long, there's just obviously pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
But like short form content did not exist when I started.
Yeah. I feel like too, people always say like it's so oversaturated, like it's too late. It's not. It's definitely not. Like it's actually easier to start now too. I agree. I think too because there's so many people talking about it. Like people are giving so many tips, a little terrifying some of them, but there are a lot more resources to like how to just grow on TikTok, Instagram. You have so many more options. Because back in the day when you started, it was like YouTube.
That was it.
Was be a YouTuber.
I remember when people started to become like Instagram influencers and the word influencers like didn't even exist. And I was like, okay, you're posting a photo. Like, we're over here slaving over these YouTube videos. I'm like, that's not real. Like, I remember feeling that way when I was like 18 because it really wasn't a thing. Like, people had blogs, but those were not, it was a totally different realm. Like, this was back when, like, there was a time when, like, YouTube and podcasting was in two separate worlds. We had no idea even who the podcasters were. It was a very different time. Same thing with blogs. Obviously, it was, like, a different demographic. Yeah. But I remember it being, like, this really insane thing that people, like, were building their platforms solely on Instagram. Like, that is how long I've been on this stuff.
Yeah, I know. And nowadays, too, there's so many more options, which can be overwhelming for people. Yeah. But I feel like it's really fun because you can find your own, like, effortless. Like, because some people, YouTube is so much easier, but some people TikTok, Instagram so much easier. So it's nice. Like there's something out there for everybody.
Totally. I really do think it's a personal thing with
Yeah.
whichever platform is easier for you.
100%.
Because it's what comes the easiest. Like, I'm such a long form girl.
Yeah.
I'm a YouTube podcast girl.
Me too.
I have my other platforms just because they're kind of like a runoff of my
Yeah.
like long form,
Yeah.
you know? But other people are like the complete opposite. But like I love like an hour-long YouTube vlog. Like that is my bread and butter.
Me too. Like at least 60 minutes on my
Yes.
TV.
At
I need
least.
it. Yeah.
Any shorter, I'm like, I'm not even clicking that video.
No, I know.
I don't need that.
I feel like too, it's people's personalities. Like I can't stop talking. And so I feel like that's why podcasting YouTube's like such a nice space. It's like, I'm sure you find this too. Like it's hard to fit everything in to a 60-second.
Yeah, I'm like, I have so much more to say, guys.
I haven't even started. Like I'm just still talking about myself. Yeah.
Okay, give us a start on your content creation journey.
Sure, yeah. So I feel like everyone knows what I mean when I say like the OG beauty guru, like Mac Barbie 07, like that whole era. I was there with everybody too, like watching all of that. So I started posting in high school, like back in forever ago. And I just never did it like after high school, after university. But then I was working a 9-to-5 marketing job in Toronto. And 9-to-5 vlogs were like a thing.
Oh my
like,
God.
They still are. But,
no, but
they had a moment.
Yeah, it really, the 9-to-5 vlog pipeline to the I quit my 9-to-5.
I was there.
That was a real thing. Brooke Machio. That was very Brooke. But Brooke's 9-to-5 vlogs, my favorite videos on YouTube.
They're amazing.
To this day, I actually should go back and watch them. The best videos ever.
Yeah, like I remember that too. So I was thinking, okay, I'm in marketing. Like, this is so fun. I should just start my old YouTube channel again. And so I did a little 9-to-5 vlogs for a couple of years. And then I quit my 9-to-5 job at the end of 2021. I was 24 to really start a business and like go into it and just see how it could go. It was interesting. I always remember I was in this one meeting. I worked at a tech company doing product marketing and we'd take AI products, and I was in a meeting with my old boss. I'm so sorry for listening. I swear I was listening in the meeting you were leading. But he was talking about how you can take like an AI tech product and you can position it in the market. And I just remember thinking, this is how influencers should work. Like this is how creators should think about their strategy. So then I started talking about that on social media, and then it was just so fun. So now I do that full time.
Wait, can you explain that more?
Sure. Yeah.
Like the AI part of it?
Yeah. So you have like an AI product, right? And there's a million. Like this was back in 2021. But there's like this whole team of people, me included, and you'd have an AI product and you're just thinking, okay, how can we make this like different and unique than the other ones? Like in social media, and it's like your full-time job was just to think of this product and how can you make it different and stand out and be on social media and like talk about it and hook people in. And I just remember the whole meeting, I'm like, this is a genius influencer strategy. Like this is what everyone should be doing. Like we were saying, it's not oversaturated. It's saturated social media nowadays, but you have to be like so different. And so and it's really hard to try to think like, how am I different? How do I stand out? Like it's actually a deep thing I find sometimes. So yeah, then I started talking, kind of taking the corporate like idea and bringing it into TikTok and talking about social media and content, but fun, like in a fun way. Yeah.
In a fun, approachable way.
Yeah.
Not so scary.
Not like making you burn out and spiral and crash out.
Yeah. I think the whole oversaturation conversation is kind of boring.
Yeah.
And I think that people just say that and use that as an excuse to not go after what they want to do.
Yeah.
And also just to give up early.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of it's a cop-out.
Yeah.
And it's a result of like fear of failure.
Totally. Because everybody listening to this, like there's so many things that are different about us. Like your sense of humor or experience. Maybe you're more open about something or you've been through something or where you live. Like there's so many unique things about us, and that should be at the front of your brand as a creator. But we just think, oh, it's so oversaturated. Everyone's talking about fitness or confidence or whatever. But if you pull those unique things about you, it's just like that AI meeting. It's like pulling all those unique things. That's what you should do. But it's hard. Like it is hard.
Everyone is so unique and has their own life perspective. But the problem is that people are you're too close to like yourself and your day to day.
Yeah.
That it's hard for people to be able to pull that out themselves. I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
So if someone is listening thinking, I really want to start content creation, but I feel like I have like nothing to say or I don't know what's so exciting about me. Like what would you say?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I feel like too, when people are thinking, okay, I want to become an influencer or be a content creator, we think first about being on Instagram, being on YouTube, or being on TikTok. But I feel like the best place to start is to just take a step back, forget social media for a second, everyone listening, and think about this question. Like if you were to be invited as a guest on your favorite podcast, what would you want someone to ask you, like, what would you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be known for? And that's where I would start, because I feel like sometimes we get really caught up in I want to hit 10K followers or the views and like all these things. It feels impossible. But if you have this kind of make this like blue sky scenario for yourself, and everyone listening can be as unique as you want, of like your day-to-day routine as a content creator, what you'd be known for. If you're on Forbes 30 creators, like what you would want your legacy and like thing to be, I would start there. And then I would build out like your content strategy and brand strategy. But like try to think about like, okay, what do you want to be known for?
I was actually having this conversation this week with some friends in LA who have been around, either they are influencers themselves or have been around another influencer for the past decade.
Yeah.
And that people, there's a lot that goes into having longevity in this space, and you have to be good at evolving. But I would say, even like, I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And I look back at like my earlier days on YouTube, and I'm like, my life at that time, it really did just exist around making content.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't necessarily giving people, I think people, the product was like me, actually.
Yeah.
I think that people just felt connected and like they related to this girl, or like wanted to live in LA at the time, or whatever it might be. Like, it was really the vlog, but there wasn't like really true substance, I would say, to that. Like, I was always very open. I was very vulnerable about mental health. Like, there were things like that for sure.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I started to like develop hobbies outside of my job.
Yeah.
And that made me so much more interesting.
Yeah.
And it also led to every other good thing in my life, because it gave me like some sort of direction.
Yeah.
So like for me, I started it so young that I just fell into the trap of like, my life revolves around making content.
Yeah.
And like, there's actually not, like, I didn't really have, it wasn't that I didn't have a why. It was that I just like, at a certain point, you're gonna like run out of things to talk about, or some sort of substance. So like, when I found the things that like lit me up inside too, and I started sharing like hobbies and like hosting and all of the things that I do are under the hobbies umbrella.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like really, really helpful and beneficial for me. And it's like now, especially like I make so much home decor, like home content.
Yeah.
Like that, I feel like is really what's like leading me into like the next decade of my career.
Yeah.
And has really helped. But like, you have to be like willing to evolve. But I look back at that and I'm like, that was never gonna last me forever, because I was just like, you know, but you're like, I think that that's better to start that way and then figure it out as well.
Totally. And you just have to start at some point. I feel like as well with growing, there's a difference in my opinion between being an influencer and being a content creator. And I feel like nowadays there's so many ways to approach social media. Like, you can even like just be a podcaster and post clips and be an influencer that way, or creator that way, or be on TikTok, or do Get Ready With Me, or vlogs. Like, there's so many ways to approach it. And so something that helps too is someone listening, if you want to get into this or you've already started, think about, I feel like being a content creator is more like outward focused tips, advice, things like that. And then an influencer is more inward focused, like about your life. And you can do both, of course. But I feel like that can help people figure it out too, because just because you want to go on social media doesn't mean you have to like vlog your life all the time too. You can be more like advice and tips and things as well. So there's like so many ways to approach it. It's so fun.
No, and my God, we were, for lack of a better term, whoring our entire lives out there for years. Like, seriously. Like, And I feel like I do share so much still. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've definitely become a lot more private. Like, there's so much happens that it's never going to see the light of day. But when we were young, that's literally, like, we got so sucked into it so young that, like, everything about our lives at that point. And then I just got, like, honestly, living in LA, I got so bored of the conversations. Because I'm like, okay, like, another, like, stop. Like, I just was like, I'm actually like losing my mind. Like, I need something else in order to make my content better. Like, if I can go back and give my younger self advice that would pertain to content creation, I would say, like, build a life. It's almost like what they say about writers. Like, you have to live a life to have something to write about.
Yeah.
And I feel like my life was so, it just revolved around creating content that I really didn't have anything to create content around. So it ended up being really helpful when I like built a life outside of it. And then I was able to, it was just a little too enmeshed for me for a bit.
Yeah. There's that whole thing too of is being a full-time influencer like fulfilling. Like, people always talk about that all the time versus like a 9-to-5 job or something else. And I feel like the more your content surrounds your audience and making that switch of like, instead of saying to yourself all the time, I want 10,000 followers, like trying to think, I want 10,000 people to feel something from my content. Like, trying to just put the audience first, it just is a way better experience for the audience too, but also for you as a creator, because you're not always like, what am I doing and how can I like show different things? It's really helpful, I think, too.
It's not like so transactional. And I think it's like, I mean, like stewardship is such a like annoying kind of like churchy word, but I think like stewarding that well, because that's how like how you treat like how you actually do $1 million is likely going to be the same way that how you steward $1 million is probably how you're going to steward like 100,000. I think that's very similar when it comes to followings. And I actually think that's a really great way to like, even like, I mean, community is like such a buzzword now, but like I really do view it way more as a community. And I think that's like very, very important. And like to actually build like a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah. I always say to people too, try to think about you're building a corner of social media that's just yours. Like it's just you. The way you do it is different than other people. And the corner for certain people to feel a certain thing and like solve problems for them. Whether even if that problem is just feeling like helping people feel seen or related to. But yeah, trying to just build your own world, your own corner. It's so much more fun. And you will just grow more that way than thinking like another morning routine, 5 a.m. If we get it, like we've seen that.
Yes.
Everybody. So yeah.
Okay, what advice would you give to someone who, like if someone's like, even though we're saying don't focus on follower count, but like someone who's wanting to go from 0 to 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
What are the steps to go from 0 to 100K?
So I feel like the first thing, like we said, like set your blue sky scenario, what your dream thing would be with doing social media. That will just help you. That might change over time too, and like let it change. Anyone listening, because sometimes you want one thing and then you want to rebrand. We love a rebrand over here. I love a rebrand.
I'm all about a rebrand.
I love a rebrand. So yeah, but so I think the first step is just figuring out what do you want to be known for. What's your why, which is a big question, and some people might be listening like, I have no idea. Just pick something and go with it. It will probably change as you evolve and change as a person too. The next thing I would do is I would try to view social media as a how, not a what. So stop saying like, I want to be a content creator, I want to be an influencer, and start thinking about a bigger mission as well. And then how you execute that mission is through social media. That can help a little bit too, just like get you more focus and
give
thinking.
An example of what a mission might be.
Yeah, like your mission could be, I want to help young women in post-grad feel confident at the office. And so, like, you can talk about meeting anxiety, how to dress, like, how to make friends, all those things, rather than just saying, I want to be a content creator and get 100,000 followers. Like, that, if you have that with everything you post, it's going to help. That's their foundation, we always say over at Busy Blooming. You got to set your foundation. And then I would really stop thinking about yourself now. Like, your whole content strategy and why you show up on social media really is for your audience, your community. So I would... This might sound weird. This is a marketing thing, but it really works. I would try to make up a fake person in your head. And that is who you're going to talk to in every single video, Instagram, carousel, everything, every podcast. You're literally thinking of someone in your head. And this person, the first thing about them is they're obsessed with you. Like they think you're hilarious and they have the same sense of humor as you. So think of that person, but then think of a few problems that they have and goals that they have. And then what you're doing really is building all your content around helping that person with something. So you're creating like a really cohesive brand. So I would start there. And then I would pick your social media platforms, the execution and all of that, which is like a whole other conversation. I would say if you want to start from 0, I would recommend starting with it's 2025, YouTube and Instagram. That's just what I would say. TikTok's good as well. It's just so volatile, which we can talk about the TikTok ban. It's like, yeah, but I would pick 1 or 2 platforms, and then there's so many different ways, which we can go into all the different ways to approach like a week of content, because I know that can be a lot too.
Yeah, let's go into this.
Okay. So once you have your foundation, you're like, I know what I'm doing. I know who I'm talking to. I know what my legacy is that I want to build. Then it's the actual content. This is where the like advice is post 6 times a day and burnout and all of that. Something I stand by so much and I talk about so much with all my content is that you don't have to burn out and like crash out to be a content creator. Like you just don't. I feel like that's the advice you hear all the time. It's like post at least 3 times a day on every platform. But we're human beings and like we have lives and emotions and we go through things. And so I just first of all would say like Mel Robbins said this, like mental health is the best business strategy. I feel like it's the best content strategy too.
Yeah.
And you are building a business as a creator, because if you were happy and feel grounded and rested and all these things, your content's just gonna be better.
Yeah,
your energy is so.
I look at especially like my early 20s, like when I was in college, and my schedule was insane. I was out of my house from like 5 a.m. to be like 8, 9 p.m. every night. And then I would have to come home and then I have to
Yeah.
edit and film and do all the
Yeah.
other stuff. Like that was just like my day to day.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted and so
Yeah.
burnt out. I was not even myself. And it's like the content suffered so much because I was just not well. I was
Yeah.
and I was in a weird environment. I was just like not well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've had that experience too.
Yeah.
Like 2024. My goodness. Worst year of all of our lives, I feel like. But yeah, I would say just know that, like, going into content, like, I feel like you look at all this advice and everyone's telling you to post like as much as you can. So I feel like from my experience and just working with creators, there's really like 3 big ways to approach a week of content. And I am a big eras person. Like, you're in a different era, a different season. So depending on like how you're feeling with content, but there's really 3 ways to approach a week. And I would tell people listening, take content week by week, because again, you're human. You go through things, your emotions, your mental health, like everything's different every week. So the way that I have seen people like really grow from just like working with creators is either having 3 like content pillars is a really common thing. I'm sure everyone's heard that. It's like, 3 buckets of content, pick that and post 1 to 2 posts from that every day if you can. But what I think is actually the best way to approach it, if you're really busy and you're somebody who wants to grow, which you can do both, do a weekly theme. It's the best. So pick a question for the week that you want to answer. So say you want to be known for helping post-grad women, like feel confident. Okay, so my weekly theme, you're like on a Sunday night planning your content. Your weekly theme could be meeting anxiety. Like, maybe that's a big thing. I know for post-grads, speaking from experience, meetings were terrifying. So then your whole week of content on all your social media platforms could be about meeting anxiety, whether it's like a day in your life vlog and the voiceover is about meeting anxiety, or a carousel, or a sit-down YouTube video. Like, it's such a good way to organize your content every week. And then your Instagram stories and other things could be more inward focused, but having a weekly theme really helps.
Yeah, that gives you like really nice structure.
It's so peaceful.
It's so peaceful.
Yeah,
it really is. Who are some creators that you look to right now that you feel like are really just doing it right, and why?
Do you know Gloria?
No.
She's on TikTok and Instagram. She does those viral videos, I'm sure you've seen, of when brands come out with foundation and then she does the like shade range. I'm obsessed with her. So yeah, she's someone who comes to mind because she is somebody who just people like Emily Kaiser, Alex Earl, you think that they are just posting whatever they feel like because their lifestyle, but they're not. Like, they have such a clear content strategy, and she's a good example of that. So I love her. I'm
trying to think of like people that have come up. Do you feel like there's anyone on YouTube that has come up in the past couple of years? Like, I feel like the people that I consume content from on YouTube are just, I've watched them forever.
Me too.
That's what's so hard about YouTube. Like,
yeah, Lynette Adkins. I don't know if you watch her. I love her. I feel like YouTube as well. It's definitely becoming a bigger thing. Every year, I feel like 2020, 2021, 2022 was all TikTok. And now YouTube is definitely making a resurgence with creators, even the ones I work with too, because the TikTok ban freaked everybody out. And so everyone wants to go on YouTube. With all that being said, I feel like vlogging is becoming less and less on YouTube too. I feel like it's all sit downs, a lot of it too.
Yeah, that's my issue with YouTube. I was like on your page earlier and you were saying like things that I wish I would have done differently with my YouTube channel. And it's like, change like what's not working. Cause like my YouTube channel has not grown in probably like 5 years. Like, it's been at the same place for so long. And it's like, I understand that I'm doing the same thing every single week and like wanting different results. But obviously, like, my issue is that I just don't know what that would be. And then also, like, people, if I was saying earlier, like, I want an hour-long vlog. If I post anything other than a week in my life that is over an hour and that's outside of my home, people are not interested. Like, that's all people want from me. And I know I need to be also making content for new viewers regardless. But I just, like, don't even know what I would be making content for. Because every week right now on Sunday, we do, like, our really long week in my life vlogs. And then every third, we're posting the podcast videos now onto the YouTube channel, just so I have like one YouTube channel. So like we post twice a week now, and then I do shorts. But I'm like, I don't even know what I could, like, I don't even know what I would do at this point.
So I feel like, because there's 2 types of content. There's like outreach content, nurture content. And so nurture content's for people who follow you and outreach is for people who don't. So a good way to grow on YouTube, if you're at a point, is like, even I was talking to someone at 1 million subscribers and the same thing. They're like, I'm just stuck. I get good views, but you're not like growth like how it used to be. So I would say pick a certain amount of time if you're feeling stagnant, anybody listening on social, to do all outreach content, like just for new people. And so a good example of that is everything's like outward focus. It's not even necessarily about us as creators. It's all like you would say you instead of I, for example. So even a week in my life content, you probably wouldn't call it week in my life. Like you would call it something that would like solve a problem for them. Like whether it's like you would have a week in your life, but it would be a theme. Maybe you're sitting down talking about one topic, the whole vlog about advice about something, and that would be how you package that whole video. So people click on it for advice, because something like vlogs, people usually click on if they know you. So that's like something people, I have seen that work.
Yeah, I need to start doing something like that. I think my problem is that it's hard for me to do like a sit down or more of a topical video where I'm more chatty because of the podcast. Because I'm like, well, that would have been a podcast episode. Like that is where I go. So I'm like, I really need to get like creative and do something else. Because as much as I'm like, that really is like, it's a YouTube podcast. I'm podcasting definitely is like my main, but I'm like, I need to be like really truly back in my YouTube era. I've just been doing the same thing for a decade, really.
Well, and you're crushing it.
No, I'm not really. No, like I need to be changing some things up there.
Well, I think too, there's also, you could try to think of when you talk about a topic, you can either tell someone something or show somebody something. So you could also, if you're giving advice about, like, say the topic that you want to talk about is like routines or something, or habits, rather than sitting talking about habits, the vlog, maybe the podcast episode is the telling and the vlog is the showing. So in the sit down, the advice about habits, but then your vlog is showing your habits throughout the week. And then that's how you package it rather than week in my life. But I mean, you're crushing it.
No, I'm like, literally any critiques you have, like I will take them all. I'm like,
here's our slideshow.
I was saying that before. I'm like, I won't get offended. I'm like, please actually tell me. What are ways that you're seeing people grow on Instagram specifically right now?
Instagram is such a good place to grow right now.
I need to hear this. Also, like
we're doing we're doing this 3-day challenge at Busy Blooming right now. And
I'm gonna join.
No, literally. And someone messaged me yesterday. They grew 60,000.
I'm sorry, what?
In a month after doing it's so funny. Like Instagram is so peaceful. It's the easiest place to grow. Probably Instagram, YouTube, in my opinion, right now are the two easiest.
Okay, that's where I'm not growing. Those are the two places that I'm not growing. So I'll be doing this. Tell me about the challenge.
Let's go through it.
I'm like, it's busyblooming.com probably. Anyway.
It's in the YouTube. Everything's free. It's on our YouTube channel. Carousels are the easiest way.
Yeah, I've noticed this.
To grow right now. So if you add music to a carousel, it goes in the Reels feed. And I actually worked with Instagram creators all throughout last year. And so like sitting with them every week, hearing about how Instagram works was so fun and so interesting. And Reels is literally, so the way Instagram works is that there's actually 4 algorithms. There's not one. And so the Reels algorithm, the home feed algorithm, the stories algorithm, the explore, it's all different. And so Reels is literally designed to reach people who don't follow you. And so when you're doing carousels, it's going in Reels, but also carousels are the only type of content on Instagram that go to people multiple times. So if I see your carousel come up and I rudely scroll past, it will come back up to me again. So other content doesn't do that on Instagram. So that's why carousels are so good to grow right now.
That makes sense, because the one post that I feel like actually has grown my account was a carousel, and it was from, we have this episode, my favorite thing that I do on this podcast. I've done it twice, but I reference it. You would think I do it every week because I talk about it so often. It should be a weekly
installment.
No, at this point, but I have 2 episodes that are titled like You're Not Behind, and it's just a list of people who've achieved success later in life. So we've started to do carousels of like stills of like graphics of the episodes. And that has like 20,000 shares or something. I actually don't know. It has a lot of shares. I think it actually has 20,000.
That's a lot. That's so good.
It grew like my account and Houseguest account. So like now we're trying to do more stuff like that, but that makes sense.
In YouTube, podcasters and YouTube creators, we have the best advantage to grow on Instagram, because you could take your podcast episode, get an RTF file of like the text, put it in ChatGPT and say, make me 20 carousels from this episode I just made.
Genius.
Yeah. Like it's so, and then you could literally, even from one of those, like you could say 1 sentence on a podcast, you can turn that into so many, like a week of content. So I find with Instagram, it's so easy to grow because, well, it's not easy all the time, but it's easy right now because carousels are getting pushed so much, and Reels as well are just a little bit easier to make because they're shorter, right? So yeah. Anyways, that like the challenge is just like a bunch of rules. It's really fun.
What about stories? So
Instagram stories, so those aren't for people who don't follow you. So it's nurture content. It's just for your followers. That being said, if someone engages with your story, your stuff will come up in feed more for them. But Instagram stories, I feel like the best way is to use them is to just be a little more like unhinged about what you're talking about in feed.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're someone who's really busy, I wouldn't worry too much about stories because your feed is, if your goal is growth and not building community so much, I would say like in feed, focus on that.
Sometimes my story views are like 5 times normal and sometimes they're cut in
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
Like, is there a reason for that? I like try to figure
Yeah.
out like if it's something that I'm like posting, like, but I'm posting like honestly the same stuff.
Yeah. It's probably shareable, like for
Okay.
shareable content. Yeah. I would say. Yeah. Instagram, the way that it works is like it's a prediction based algorithm. So if it's someone like saves and shares are the most important thing on the Reels algorithm. So someone saves it and shares it. That's why it's so good to think about your audience all the time rather than posting like morning routine 5 a.m. Who's going to post that on an Instagram story? But if you made I try to wake up at 5 a.m. so you don't have to for a week, someone might share that with their friend. So trying to just always think every time you post on Instagram specifically, like would someone say this or would someone share this to their story? It's a good way to package your content too.
What would you say? I mean, I know obviously TikTok is like so all over the place right now and it's not really like the safest bet.
Yeah.
But what would your advice be for TikTok?
Yeah. So TikTok is the best way to reach new people, I would say. Instagram, honestly, is like a close second right now. YouTube as well. Like the algorithm, they just switched up at YouTube too. Not that the algorithm.
We'll be talking about that soon.
Not that everything's about the algorithm, but which it's not. But I mean, at the end of the day, if your content is good, people watch it and save it. That's what the algorithm wants. So there's no hacks or anything like that. I think people always say that there are. There's not. I feel like because the people I usually like interact with are really, really busy. So I would say the ROI on your time is everything. Like how much time you're putting in and getting back. I feel like the ROI is better on Instagram and YouTube because TikTok is so volatile. That being said, I feel like TikTok is a really good way to grow something else. So I would get on TikTok and like really have your YouTube or your Instagram or your podcast or something else like in your bio and like pushed a lot. Because TikTok's like you can't get like the reach on there is crazy.
I agree. I feel that way about TikTok. Like I think it's been great. Honestly, on the brand end with a friend of mine, like the amount of time that I'm somewhere and I will have like we'll be out at dinner or something and someone will come up to me and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a TikTok card."
Oh no way.
And I'm like, the TikTok card, I'm like, that's crazy, but it's because TikTok Shop was pushing them so much for so long.
Yeah.
Just because it was good for their algorithm. Like they had like a huge like initiative behind TikTok Shop for like a year. So like I feel like it was really helpful on that end, but I think it's great. I agree. I think that TikTok is really great to build something to then bring that audience to something else. Like it's not, TikTok is not the end goal. I think you want to build on to.
Yeah.
Do you think that everyone needs like in order to have longevity, like okay, first off, actually two-parter. Okay. Thoughts on how to have longevity in the content creator space. And then also, do you feel like you have to go to long form for longevity?
Yeah. So I think longevity, people have to either care about you so much or you're all about them. Like people always care more about themselves and they will care about us as creators, which I mean is what it is. But I think to be someone who does this for multiple years, I feel like you have to build a brand that, I know value is one of those things that's like, we get it, like add value to content. But what that is somebody can like take action or like learn something or feel something specific from your content. I feel like if you're somebody who's on TikTok posting like aesthetic, just all aesthetic content, they're not like learning anything or getting anything from it. I don't think there's much longevity in that, but you may get a lot of views and follows. But longevity is all about the people. Like they care so much about what you're making them feel or you.
There's so many people on TikTok with millions and millions of followers have views that people have never seen before.
Yeah.
That like will have no longevity in the space because no one feels connected to them. They just think that their content's like pretty.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about them. Like you have to, in my opinion, I think you have to have some sort of connection to that person. You know what I mean?
Oh, it totally. Yeah. And I think that's why long form, you're watching someone for an hour versus how many TikToks did you have to watch to get that same connection. So I also feel like long form, it depends though, because just because you do long form doesn't mean it's like definitely going to result in like longevity. It depends how your long form is. But I feel like the creators I have seen and worked with who have like millions of followers and have grown like consistently over years, they're so about their audience. Like everything, like even if they're doing an errands vlog, they're saying like, we're going to do this, or I needed to tell you something. Like it's all about their audience, even though it probably as a viewer feels like it's not. It's about them. They're so intentionally making it about you.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the YouTube algorithm.
Okay.
Like, what's going on there?
Yeah. The YouTube algorithm. So I feel like YouTube is such a good place to grow right now as well. Instagram and YouTube, I feel like YouTube specifically can be really daunting for people, especially from scratch. Like, because it's one of those platforms that we've all probably watched the longest. It's been around the longest. But the algorithm, so someone came out recently on YouTube and said that they updated it. So it's pushing newer creators and like smaller creators more than it ever has right now, which is like such good news for anyone listening who wants to start. So the algorithm is based on a few different things. At the end of the day, like we said, if it's good content that people want to watch and save and share, then that's all you need. But the click-through rate is what it used to be. Retention, like way back in the day, retention was like the number one thing. But nowadays, click-through rate is what is pushing videos out.
Can you explain like click-through rate?
Yeah. So so say 10 people watch it and one person clicks on it. That's what they're trying to see, is how many people who see your thumbnail and title are clicking through. So all that being said, thumbnails and titles are like the number one thing more than ever.
What would like your thumbnail tips be? I know that's very broad, but
yeah, no, it's such a good question. So YouTube has a feature where you can upload 3 thumbnails for every.
I don't think I have that right now. Like, does everyone have that?
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
maybe you don't.
No, like maybe I just don't know how to use it. I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, I wish that I had that.
Yeah, it's the biggest game changer.
Okay,
and
I need to do that.
Yeah, because you can make 3 completely different thumbnails, so you can reach 3 new people who might not necessarily click on like a really whatever. So yeah, it's the best tool.
You know what my dream is?
What?
I so badly want to be like one of those really cool girls who just a photo, just a still.
A still.
I just want a still.
No, I want to be a still girl with like a word as the title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Like really nothing. Like I don't need to speak in my life, like just like a random question. JC does
JC
really
Marie
well.
is Yeah,
like that's my goal. Like I need to get to that. I don't like my thumbnails.
She's so cool.
She's the coolest girl ever.
But we're cool too. So like maybe
so
we'll get there.
My goal is to
like be more cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good because also like I think with a lot of longevity, like that's why there's a lot like comfort creators have such longevity, because it's about how you make someone feel, and people are always looking for comfort, especially these days. My God.
Yeah.
So I think that in itself, and that to me like signifies like comfort creator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like you're not like Nick Bear trying to get someone to like run a marathon or whatever. I love Nick Bear, but like
like Mr. Beast.
Yes. Yeah. It's a different thing, and it's like I'm definitely more comfort, like especially on YouTube. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I feel like because sometimes I feel like too depends what you want as a creator, because you don't always like need to. People chase, I find a lot of the time, the wrong things. As creators, we chase like virality and getting as many followers, as many views as possible. But if you want it to be your business, that's actually not what you need necessarily. You need, it's amazing. Like even if I was working at the clothing brand, you don't need to go viral to sell your clothes. You need 1,000 buyers is so much better than like 1 million people watching your content who won't buy.
Totally.
It's the same with content too. Like if you get like 5,000 people who are like obsessed with you, that's so much better than just like a huge number. So I feel like with the creator, try to think about too, like what's your end goal here? Because chasing virality and all these things, it's such a losing game as a creator, I find.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always say, and I always preface this by saying maybe I feel differently if I was getting millions of views. But I do say that I really think that one of the biggest benefits I've had in my career has been growing slowly. Like slow and steady wins the race.
Oh, yeah.
For a couple of different reasons. One, it's helped me to have such a close relationship with my audience and build that over like years and years and years. Like we just launched, like friend of mine just launched Anthropology. And I had all of these comments from girls being like, oh my gosh, from like the gray striped bedroom. And I'm like, I cannot believe like and for context, that's like the very first YouTube video that I ever posted. I was 15, 16. My bedroom had like gray stripes in the background. I'm like, I can't believe that there's still people from that point. But if I'd grown and gone so viral overnight, I don't think that I would like know my audience as well as I do. Like I wouldn't have that same relationship. And then also in business, there's such thing as the kiss of death. Like sometimes you will get too much opportunity or too much like quote success and like you're not built to handle it. You don't have the systems in place. Therefore, it's just gonna fall. So I think that like slow and steady wins the race. Actually, like a very safe way to build a healthy business with longevity, which is essentially what you're doing here.
Yeah.
I also think it's crazy how like at the same time we will see a video on TikTok and let's say it has like 300 views and we're like, I'm in my flop era. It's like, think about 300 people watching a video. That's so many people.
Yeah.
Like, I spoke at a college like a year or two ago and it was 5,000 people. And I'm like just thinking about that. I'm like, if I get 5,000 on anything, I'm like, oh, flopped. I'm like, that's so many people.
It's weird too how your normal I've had this recently with the podcast and the YouTube. It's like, your normal goes up so fast. You're like, oh, this only got 10,000 views.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, okay. But before, I would be like, 10,000 views. Like, that's crazy. So I feel like as creators too, it's so important to romanticize what you have as creators. And I say this all the time. So many people, I'm busy bleeding, working 9 to 5. But I'm like, what an amazing thing that is. Like, you work a 9 to 5 job that's probably not like too stressful. And content and social media is this like fun thing that you can keep your creativity, because the second you go from 9 to 5 to being a full-time creator, the energy shifts so much. You need it to work. You don't just do it for fun. So it's such a beautiful thing, like to keep content creative, do on the side, make some money from that, and then do a 9 to 5. Like same thing if you have 10,000 followers, that's amazing. Like having 10,000 followers is a business is perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, you don't necessarily need a million.
You don't need like millions of followers. So many of my friends who have probably like under 100,000 followers have the most engaged audiences. Every time we have a more like niche like influencer who's not like the biggest thing in
like
the world, but like it's not like 10 million. Like I've had friends on that have millions of followers, and then I've had friends on who have 50,000 on Instagram, and like the difference between the two, like the ones that have 50,000, first off, it's our top downloaded episodes always. It's always the like micro quote influencers. And everyone's way more engaged. People are so excited coming back. They're always being requested. Whereas like the people with like 3 million, like it just is like, okay, just like another episode. It's really interesting how it works.
Oh yeah, I feel that way. Like the busy blooming, like those are my girlies. Like you feel like you know them genuinely from events and like different things too. And so it's just different. It's like so fun.
What is some really bad advice to growing on social media that you hear a lot?
So much. Like I feel like 95% of it is bad. Anything that has to do with going viral makes me want to crash out, like watching a video like that, because like just hacking the algorithm, like things like that, you just can't. It's not how it works. And you're losing the plot of like building your brand, your community, your corner, your business, like all these things. So anything that's like how to hack the algorithm, how to hack going viral, any sort of like glorifying not taking a break, I think is really bad advice, just because again, we're like human beings, we're not robots, like shooting out content all day. So I feel like I
also think it gives your audience like taking some sort of a break. People are like refreshed, they're more excited, they're more interested, they're more like from like almost like a marketing perspective. I actually think taking time off sometimes, like people are like, oh, what have they been up to?
It's
like,
really good.
They're more intrigued. It's good for you. You know?
Yeah, you can like inundate.
It's good for business.
It is good for business.
Yes.
A break breaks need to be like, it's like my number one piece of advice for people if they're like posting 3 times a day and burnt out. Like take a break, because you're building up some momentum of like where they go. But yeah, and there is this thing as too much content for your audience to consume, especially on YouTube. People who post every other day or things like that, like every like week, 10 days. Perfect. So yeah, I think advice about like there's like X amount of time until the end of the year, like this is the time, hustle, don't take a break, just keep going. Like it's a push and pull, which is such a thing to figure out as an entrepreneur and creator, you're when to push and when to pull for yourself. It's so personal. But yeah, advice like that I think is like, and anything that's like these hashtags will make you go viral. Like
I think that the algorithm, like it's really important to know those things, like to know those tips, use them to your benefit. It's great.
Yeah.
But like the algorithm, I think TikTok is so faulty. Like, it's not really like good enough. So, like, with that being said, I think so often we blame the algorithm when, like, the content just isn't interesting. Or, like, we're missing the mark, you know?
Yeah. People like, Instagram hates me right now. It's like, no, it doesn't.
It's like, no, actually, the people do. No,
actually, your followers hate you. Yeah. But no, I think, and TikTok has a different, it's like the algorithm's so interesting there too. But yeah, I feel like all this advice people hear about hashtags and hacks and different things, it is packaging, because what an algorithm in social media is it's categorizing your post to know whose page to put it on. So when you and I scroll, there's a reason. The reason we see different things on our reels is because of the packaging the creator has. Like whether they, all you need to do, it's like 2 seconds as a creator, is just let the algorithm know what your video is about. Like don't make content for it to like hack it, because if you get your content like on someone's page, but if they don't watch it, it doesn't matter. Nothing will beat retention and saves and shares. So
last thing I wanted to touch on, because I'm sure this is probably everyone's hold up, is being embarrassed or feeling cringe to start.
Yeah.
I think, one, I don't find things embarrassing or cringe. As someone who's like been doing this for so long, when I see someone starting content, I'm like, oh my God, fun, exciting.
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks that like you're actually embarrassing or cringe, like that's a personal problem. Like that's like my opinion. Like no one doing better than you is going to like be talking down to you.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give? Because like also you have to be cringe. Sure, if it's cringe, you have to be cringe to gain whatever. That's just like part of the game.
Yeah, I feel like we are people who are like do social media full time. We're innately a little cringe. Like we're a little bit like, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I feel like cringe is, it's like, I always view it, it's a hallway from where you are to where you're going that you just have to get through. And it's this rite of passage. Like everybody who's listening, someone you follow that you think is like the most successful person ever, somebody thinks they're cringe or thought they were. I hate the advice too of it's cringy until like successful, because that's not true. Like you could, even someone from your high school, if you have 10 million followers and make $10 million, could think you're cringe.
Yeah, but I think that they respect you. I think that's the difference.
You.
They might still think you're cringe, but they're like, oh wow, she's making money. Like there definitely is a difference in attitude.
100%.
But it's a respect thing. It's not a cringe thing.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the second you stop trying to convince everybody you're not cringe, it like I always say this all the time, embrace the cringe. But
also, what other people think of you is none of your business.
It's from their life. That's why
Mel Robbins' let them theory. Let them.
Let them. Let people think you're cringe.
Let them.
Because I find too, the more that you own it, you're like, yeah, this is cringe, which is a side effect of future success. Like now that I'm cringe, I know I'm going to be like on the way to success. So it's a good thing. Every time you feel cringe, be like, this is a good thing. Like it's a sign I'm getting out of my comfort zone. It's a sign I'm like on the right path.
I agree. Actual last thing.
Okay.
If someone wants to go from 0 to 1 million subscribers in a year, what would you say?
I would say the number one thing to take seriously, I would say, is for the whole first year, make nothing about you. Like make every title, every thumbnail, outward focus. The video's like all about when they start the video, it's exactly what the title and thumbnail was. It tells you exactly what's going to be in the video. It's super savable, super shareable. And then in your second year, get into more about you. But that's what I would say. If you want to do that, somebody, I would be like super specific on one or two topics. But yeah, make things like just really, really outward focused and really like brand it to you. Make it your own unique thing, like we talked about too. Like pick a few elements of you and like totally capitalize on those and make it you different.
Love that. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Where can they find you?
Thanks for having me. Everyone can find me at Tess Barkley and Busy Blooming, the Busy Blooming world. Come to work with us. We go to work doing content every day. So yeah.
Love. Thank you.
Thanks.